Alright guys, welcome back to Pokemon Champions. This is episode 2 of our race to the top, our race to champion rank. And today we have 5 more matches for you, hopefully against real, actual trainers. As opposed to some of the AI bots that we've been getting matched against in episode 1. And I'll give you a little hint because we're actually ahead in recordings. There are still some AI opponents, I'm pretty sure, cropping up every now and then, but for the most part we are taking on humans. And our first opponent today is going to be Vanex, and Vanex is rocking the Gengar. This might be the first time we see an opposing Mega Gengar against us, but I'm contemplating who to bring here. I'm resisting with every fiber of my being to not bring Umbreon, Gyarados and Gengar, which is the 3 that I took into basically every single fight in episode 1. But today we are bringing Dragonite instead of Umbreon into this first matchup. So Vanex is going to send out the Tinkaton, which is the first time I've come up against this guy. And we're going to get our Intimidate off, except we're not, because of the own tempo ability. But I'm thinking maybe we should go for an Earthquake, maybe we should Dragon Dance, but I do end up clicking the Dragon Dance. We take the Play Rough quite nicely, and we're going to get the +1 speed, +1 attack as per usual. Now, I'm going to just fire off an Earthquake and see how much this does. Again, this is a newer age Pokemon, so I'm not entirely sure how much damage it's going to do. It would have knocked it out, I would imagine, but of course the Focus Sash comes in for the Tinkaton, hits another Play Rough, and we survive on 21 HP. Gyarados is an absolute tank. I love Gyarados, and I'm still very much happy to lead with this thing. We're not in the upper echelons of ranks yet, but we are going to knock it out with the Tinkaton. But yeah, we're not in the upper ranks yet, so maybe this will change when we're coming up against a better standard of opponent. But for now, Gyarados lead is great. I love it. So the Absol comes out here. I'm anticipating a Sucker Punch here. But I'm also like, I could probably send out Dragonite to take this thing on, even if Gyarados does go down to a Sucker Punch. So I'm contemplating switching here. I'm thinking maybe do we go to Gengar and outspeed with a Sludge Wave, but then we're going to get Sucker Punched again. Ultimately, though, I end up just clicking Waterfall, and luckily for us, that was the right move because the Absol did not click Sucker Punch, and we're going to take that thing down with one foul swoop, and that is a good start to this battle. Gyarados is still going strong, and then this is not only the first time we've seen an opposing Gengar, but also a shiny Gengar just like ours. And yes, it is going to be the shiny Mega Gengar for Vanex here. And I think we're going to get to outspeed this because we have got the +1. And I am indeed right, we hit the Earthquake, and that is a dead shiny Mega Gengar. So again, Gyarados lead just showing at the moment that it's very good. I explained this in the last episode, but I just love how Mega Gyarados, or sorry, Standard Gyarados, basically can tank basically any hit, but it also hits really hard and it has the ability to set up. And in a 3v3 situation, as opposed to like a 6v6 situation or doubles or whatever, it's really solid because it's bulky and it hits hard. And I know that's really basic to say, but it just is a great Pokemon. We have to watch out for the quad weakness, Electricity, obviously. But so far, it's not really been a problem for Gyarados, and we'll continue to monitor that situation. But as you can see, straight away for this next matchup against EA Vargas G, I'm going to lock Gyarados in once again. And we're going to go for... I'm thinking about Umbreon here. I'm clearly looking and scouting out the opponent, and we got the Armor Rouge there, we got Victory Bell, Hydreigon, a lot of the Pokemon that we've already seen at this level. And you can see the 3 that we did lock in there is falling back into our old habits. But here we go, we're going to lead with Gyarados once again. This guy looks kind of like me, you know. And I really hope that they do some more customization options in the future in terms of like hair colors, maybe even like change the face shape and different stuff like that. More options would be great. But for now, yeah, we're looking kind of good. But Hydreigon is the lead of our opponent this time, and we are going to click the Dragon Dance. Again, I'm not too scared of anything that this thing wants to do, and in fact, the opponent does switch out into Manectric off the bat this time, and we're going to get that free Dragon Dance, and then I'm inevitably now going to click Earthquake to get the knockout here. I don't think this is going to be able to outspeed me at +1. Obviously, the Choice Scarf is not in the game, so I'm not worried about that item, you know, overriding our +1 speed from Dragon Dance. However, this game is going to be all about the Quick Claw, and you'll see what I mean, right? This is potentially one of the most unlucky games that I've ever had. And Manectric does hit the Volt Switch, obviously kills Gyarados because it's a stab Volt Switch and this thing's got good special attack. And manages to switch out to the Hydreigon again, and that's a dead Gyarados. We could have got the free Earthquake, but the Quick Claw came in clutch for our opponent. And yeah, this one's going to be really interesting because of the hold items in this game. So I'm thinking, what do I send out here? Do I go into Gengar and try and hurt this thing? Do I go into Umbreon and try and stall this thing? And I end up going for the latter. So we send out Umbreon, and I'm just going to try and get the Toxic off straight away. The Hydreigon goes for a Focus Blast, which would have done damage. It's not a stab, but it would have done probably around about half, maybe slightly less, maybe slightly more. Luckily for us, though, it missed. And we're going to get the Toxic off on the Hydreigon, start whittling it down. And now the only thing really left to do is to either heal or click Foul Play. So I'm going to anticipate the Focus Blast hitting, which it does. And I'm going to click Moonlight. And just like I predicted, it does do around about half damage. I'm pretty sure Focus Blast also has the opportunity to lower your, I think it's special defense by one stage. I might be wrong. Correct me in the comments. Again, I'm quite rusty at the moment. I'm sure I'll get better and more knowledgeable as these episodes go on. But for some reason, Hydreigon clicks Flamethrower here and also does get the burn. So the RNG is not in our favor this time around, and the Synchronize would have popped, but of course we've already poisoned it, and you can see the Foul Play does next to no damage there. And yeah, I would rather, to be honest, have the Toxic on the Hydreigon than the burn, because Toxic will stack damage. So I'm thinking about maybe, you know, trying out a different attacking move. We do click Last Resort here, and as you can see right here, not only does it hit 2 Focus Blasts in a row, but that second one was a critical hit. So the RNG against me here is just hideous, right? We do get the Leftovers heal, but Hydreigon is going to be able to now outspeed, and if it does manage to hit a Focus Blast, it will kill. However, it might try and do a different move, and it does. And Draco Meteor is going to knock Umbreon out just purely because of the stab. The base special attack of Hydreigon is very high, and yeah, Umbreon was clinging on there. Only had about 43, I think, HP. But the poison does take down the Hydreigon as well, and now I'm going to send out my Gengar, which I'm pretty confident can take the Manectric. Cannot quite remember whether Manectric gets access to things like Dark Pulse, but I'm assuming that it's going to do some sort of stab electric attack. So the only thing that I can do, Gengar's the only Pokemon left on my team, is Mega Evolve and just go for pure damage. I don't think it's worth my time Nasty Plotting. Oh, I actually clicked Nasty Plot, sorry. Sorry, I did click Nasty Plot, so I do think it's worth my time Nasty Plotting. I was expecting myself to go for a Sludge Wave there, but apparently I did click Nasty Plot, and we'll find out whether this was the wrong or right play here. So I do go for the Nasty Plot, and then the Manectric snarls me, takes about half of my health, roughly, and does get the special attack drop. So we're now not a +2, but a +1 special attack. I now click the Sludge Wave, thinking this will kill at +1. I mean, ideally it would have been at +2, but the Snarl obviously knocked me down a peg. But then look, the Quick Claw comes in again, and the Volt Switch isn't quite enough to take down Gengar. So Gengar very luckily hangs on here. Victory Bell comes out, so I'm not sure whether this is going to take it out. I know it's going to do a lot of damage, but we'll see. And it does take out the Victory Bell, so as long as the Quick Claw doesn't pop on this very last turn, then we'll be fine, and we'll outspeed the Manectric and be able to kill it, hopefully with a +1 Sludge Wave. So that's what we click, hoping for the Quick Claw to not pop. I don't know if Serene Grace as an ability, you know, the ability that Togekiss gets, I don't know if that would affect how likely the Quick Claw is to pop. But as you can see, it does pop. And obviously, I'm not saying that Manectric gets Serene Grace, but I'm trying to work out in my head, how did that Quick Claw pop on every single turn of Manectric attacking me in that battle? That was terrible RNG luck for me. Really, really bad. We had 3 Quick Claw pops from the opponent, and we had a critical hit with the Focus Blast, plus 2 of 3 Focus Blasts hitting me. So yeah, terrible luck. We're going to get straight into the next one. We're going to forget about that. 9 times out of 10, I probably would have won that last match, but of course it wasn't to be on this occasion. So next up, we've got, I seem to be noticing a lot of people running Sylveon, Manectric, and Victory Bell. This guy's also packing the Lucario, the Gyarados, much like us, and Frostlass, which I think is also, I can't remember if this is the first time we've seen Frostlass. It might have been on somebody's team. I'm not sure we've seen it in battle yet, but anyway, we lock in our 3, and yeah, we're going to go for, you know, the thing that's been working pretty well for us so far. So our opponent sends out a Victory Bell. We're going to send out Gyarados this time. Like that's new. We get the Intimidate on Victory Bell, and I'm going to go straight for the usual strategy, which is clicking Dragon Dance. Just get that ideally sweep going on the team and just get the battle over and done with nice and quickly. However, we do have to take a Poison Jab to the face this time before we can get a move off. And I'm thinking, do I go for another Dragon Dance? Do I click Ice Fang? I end up going for the Dragon Dance just to get +2 speed, +2 attack. And I'm thinking I took that Poison Jab really nicely. I was risking getting poisoned if it went for it again, but he actually went for Seed Bomb this time. We go for Ice Fang, and RNG is just not in my favor in today's episode because we missed 5% chance of missing, and we do miss, but luckily we've survived the 3 attacks from Victory Bell, and I'm starting to think at this point, is this a bot again, right? Because the communication's really quick. We look how quickly our opponent decided to send out the Lucario here, and yeah, we do click Earthquake on this occasion, and we do take down the Lucario in one foul swoop. Remember, at +2, and as I said, we've taken 3 hits from a Victory Bell. We are very, very bulky. And then again, look, this just shows me that we're fighting a bot here, because why on earth would you not send Manectric straight out? It outspeeds, although I guess we had Dragon Dance on this occasion, but of course we do get the knockout with Earthquake, and whether that was a real person or a bot, we got the win regardless. And that is another victory to help us on our way to rank up to, I think it's Pokeball Tier 2 is our next one, and we'll see right here, we do get our first movement towards Pokeball Tier Rank 1. I think if we can get another win and get that onto a 2-winning streak, then we might do it in the next battle. So we're going to wait, and we are now taking on somebody called Sonic. So this is going to be, I think this is our 3rd battle of the episode. And I'm looking on the right, I've got Corviknight here, a shiny Charizard, which tells me this probably is a real person. I haven't yet seen any of the suspected AI trainers that I've come up against having shinies. Also the Horlucha there, which I know is very good in OU, and is just a good competitive Pokemon in general. Absol's there. Dragonite's always a good Pokemon at this level. And again, I'm looking at this, and there's 5 Pokemon on my opponent's team that could be Megas. So on my team, you're going to know that it's one of 3, Gyarados, Gengar, or Dragonite, right? But 5? It's really hard to guess, because a lot of these Pokemon change types as well. I mean, on this occasion, I think it's only Absol Z that could change type and add the Ghost typing, and Charizard can obviously become Dragon if it does its X Evo. Also, it can get Drought if it does its Y Mega Evo. Anyway, I'm going to lock in Gyarados, Raichu, and Umbreon this time. So I'm going a little bit balls to the wall and actually not bringing a Mega Pokemon. I think my thought process was that there were a few flying types there. I could maybe take down Horlucha with the Raichu. I just wanted to try something slightly different. Horlucha does come out straight away, and we are going to get the Intimidate on the Horlucha, which is really nice. However, it's still a very scary Pokemon, even at -1 attack. So we are going to click the Dragon Dance here. I'm thinking we can take the worst cases that this has some sort of rock move, maybe, like, I don't know if this gets Stone Edge or Rock Slide, but actually Sonic does withdraw Horlucha here, goes out into the Frostlass, and that enables me to get a nice free Dragon Dance up on our Gyarados. This is looking good for me so far, and we are going to now switch to the offense, and at +1 speed and attack, we're going to click Waterfall here. And this is the first time, I'm pretty sure this is the first time that we're going to see Mega Frostlass, one of the brand new Legends EA Mega Evolutions. This is the first time we're seeing it in Pokemon Champions in this kind of competitive turn-based situation. It does summon the snow as well, and we are going to do quite a lot of damage, but it's left at 34%, and it does get the burn, but little does my opponent know that we are holding the Lumberry, and this is why I love Lumberries. It's a great item, and that enables us to cure our burn and not have that our attack stat chopped in half from the burn. And I'm going to click Waterfall to try and knock out the Frostlass, but it does. Our opponent does switch to Horlucha, which is holding the Citrus Berry. Nearly killed it. It was at 7%, and the Citrus takes it up to 31%. But because of the speed, I'm thinking we can outspeed and kill. But actually, it does get the Acrobatics off against us, and we're going to knock it out with the second Waterfall. And Gyarados, once again, is just absolutely bossing these 3v3s. I'm really enjoying using Gyarados right now. Dragonite is revealed to be our opponent's next Pokemon, And of course we have the quad effective Ice Fang. The extreme speed comes in and it does actually get the knockout. I was kind of surprised there. I know Dragonite is very strong. You can use it in a number of ways, and its attack stat is great, and its special attack is pretty good, especially as a Mega. Obviously this one didn't Mega, but that extreme speed at base 80 damage, non-stab was enough to take down Gyarados. I think we had 60 HP there. So now I'm thinking, who do we send out next? Do we go for Raichu and try and maybe get a Stab Psychic? Or what do we do here? And I do end up going to Alolan Raichu, which is the first time we've actually got to use this guy, I'm pretty sure. So I have a moveset that is kind of restrictive. We've just got the 2 stab attacks. I think that Charm slot is probably the most controversial. We could probably put a different move there, or maybe Volt Switch or something. But Charm, I just feel like it might be a bit of a surprise move to use against our opponent. But anyway, I do end up clicking the Nasty Plot on this occasion. We do take the Dragon Claw purely based on our Focus Sash, but I kind of just was an idiot and forgot that this thing gets extreme speed and has priority. So it was a stupid switch in from me, really. And I'm going to actually save Raichu, just in case, because Alolan Raichu is very fast, right? So we can maybe save that later and get like a Psychic or a Thunderbolt off. And yeah, I'm going to switch into Umbreon, who is going to take that extreme speed quite nicely there, down to 165 out of 202 HP. That's not bad, it's acceptable. And now we're going to click the Toxic. It's going to go for a Stab Dragon Claw, take us just under half health, but once the leftovers pops for us at the end of this turn, it's going to be just over, I think, half health. So, I'm wondering whether this thing is packing Draco Meteor. We are more specially defensive, so I'm kind of okay if we do, and I'm pretty confident to go for, I think I go for a Moonlight on this turn. And yeah, we do survive that quite nicely. The Toxic's going to stack against the Dragonite and start doing more and more damage as the turns pass. And yeah, we're looking in a pretty decent position to just kind of click Moonlight here and stall this thing out, essentially. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I think this guy was thinking, oh, do I stay in? Do I switch? Ultimately, they do choose to keep the Dragonite in, and we're just going to click Moonlight again, and that Toxic is just going to stack and stack. And this is exactly what Umbreon likes to do for us. This is what Umbreon's purpose is, and it's just an annoying wall, basically. And I love Umbreon. But we are going to go for an offensive move on this occasion. We're going to click the Foul Play, because I was either anticipating the switch to Frostlass here, or potentially yeah, just to get some chip damage on the Dragonite. But luckily we read it quite nicely, and the Frostlass is going to faint now. And once again, we're going to get the leftovers heal. And actually we're back up to maximum health now. And this is why I love Umbreon so much. This is the kind of stuff it can do in the right situation. This does have kind of like some Pokemon that it's scared of, like Heracross is quite scary for Umbreon, Mega Heracross of course as well. Anything that's fighting or bug is kind of scary, and physical of course, because we are running, as I said, a specially kind of yeah, specially based set on Umbreon here. But we are tanking this Dragonite's moves nicely, and it looks like our last result here is going to end this match. So that's what we click. We are going to take this Dragon Claw, and this opponent gave a good account of themselves. It was a nice match. Ultimately, Umbreon's stalling was too much, and we are going to get the win thanks to a combination of Gyarados really and Umbreon. Raichu didn't really do anything, but it was kind of my fault. It's not Raichu's fault. It's not, you know, that Raichu's a bad Pokemon. I just completely sent it out at the wrong time and just overlooked the fact that the Dragonite had extreme speed. But I guess we can kind of count that as a collective win for Raichu. Anyway, let's get into our fourth battle. I think this is the fourth battle of this episode. We've got 2 more left in today's episode. Let's see if we can keep this positive run going. And I actually missed whether we ranked up there, but I think we either ranked up or came very, very close, but we want to keep the momentum going. And once again, look, every time that we get into a battle now, I'm just like, yeah, let's lead with Gyarados. I don't even really need to look too hard at my opponent's team. And we're against someone called Noey here. There was a Snorlax potentially there, some interesting Pokemon, some of which we haven't seen before. And Noey stands between us and rank 1, I think that's correct. I think I'm correct in saying that. But our kind of overall mission is to just get to Great Ball tier, so you know we're still a little bit away from that. But wins are wins, and they're going to get us the points we need. So Snorlax comes out here, and you know nothing new for us. We're going to click Dragon Dance until this stops working. Most of the time, I'm going to pretty much stick with this this strategy. And the Body Slam comes in, the Stab Body Slam. That does actually paralyze our Gyarados, but of course, the Lumberry saves the day. And that means that we've got +1 now. We can go for the Stab Waterfall. This can flinch as well, but it ends up just doing pretty much 2/3 damage to the Snorlax. We do get yawned for our troubles, and I'm just going to go for the kill, get rid of this Snorlax, because Snorlaxes can be very, very annoying and bulky, annoying to deal with, and I just wanted to get it out of here. Even if I take a bit of sleep for it, it's fine. The way that sleep works in Champions meta is it's changed a little bit. It's less brutal now in that you are definitely guaranteed a turn of sleep, but on the second turn you have a chance of waking up, and on the third turn you definitely wake up, which is kind of nice. Dragonite comes out here and goes straight for the Draco Meteor. That is going to be enough to take out our sleeping Gyarados. I could have switched maybe, but I thought that we might as well get a clean switch in to something against this Dragonite, and I did click Ice Fang, even though I kind of knew that we were going to get killed there. But we are going to go into, I think, Umbreon, just because Umbreon seems to be a pretty good matchup for Dragonite at the moment. Like, Dragonite can't do too much to it, especially if it's Mega. This one doesn't seem to be a Mega iteration, but it is using special moves like Draco Meteor, and that's going to do nothing to the specially bulky Umbreon that we are packing right now. Again, we get the Toxic off. This is the strategy starting all over again. People don't seem to be bringing Steel types at the moment to matches against me. So, you know, whilst we're guaranteed no Steel types, you know, using Toxic is a really nice way to stall and to whittle down our opponent. And Draco Meteor, a third time in a row, like, did this person not have another move to click? Does actually get the crit that time, so it bypasses any stat buffs, or sorry, stat nerfs that the Dragonite had. So that's unfortunate for us, because we're going to take more damage than we should have really. But obviously the leftovers pops, and you know, we're bulky as hell. We can click Moonlight here if we want to, and we are going to do that because for whatever this person sends out next, I want to be in the healthiest position possible. And there we go. There's a non-crit Draco Meteor, and I really do not know why this Dragonite's like locking itself into Draco Meteors at -6 special attack. I really don't know. It must have some sort of other attack that it could have used. Maybe it's a purely specially Dragonite, sorry, a purely special built Dragonite, and so maybe it didn't have any physical attacks at all, and therefore Draco Meteor would be its strongest attack to use. But we're gonna, do we click? Yeah, we click Moonlight there. And I just wanted to make sure that for whatever comes out next, we're just at max health. I was expecting another attack to land on us, but actually, the opponent did actually switch out into the Mimikyu, which is quite smart on their behalf. And the play rough, the stab play rough there is going to be really nice for them. But I just thought, you know what? Gengar can take the rest of the team. Dragonite's not going to outspeed it. And so let's just bust this thing's disguise and go for the foul play. That's what we did. And now we're probably going to go down to a play rough, but again, I'm pretty confident that Gengar can come in at the end of this match and just sweep up. So we do let Umbreon go down. We salute you, Umbreon. Umbreon's putting in some real work in today's episode and justifying why I've got Umbreon on the team. And then Gengar comes in. Remember, our opponent at this stage didn't know that we had Gengar as our final Pokemon. But of course, when we get that Mega Evolution and we click Shadow Ball or Sludge Wave, it just does so much damage, and I'm pretty confident that this is going to kill the Mimikyu with the Shadow Ball here. And this should be I think this is the first time I've even used Shadow Ball at all in Pokemon Champions, and I love how this move looks, man. Nice and snappy in terms of animations, but it still looks great. I love how it progressively gets bigger, and the energy animation just looks amazing. And that does take down the Mimikyu. Shadow Ball is probably one of the coolest looking moves, honestly. Dragonite comes out here, 36% left in terms of its HP, and that's going to mean that it's in a nice range for us to kill with our most powerful move here, just in case, Sludge Wave. And that is another victory, and this is going really well for us. Now, again, I'm pretty sure that was a real human, because I'm really suspicious about being matched up against, you know, fake people at the moment. But that is another victory against a person, a real human person, and we are up to rank 1. There we go. We are officially up to rank 1, and it looks like because of our win streak, that one more victory may indeed take us to Great Ball Tier 4. And we'd officially be out of the Pokeball rank. So we've got somebody called Lencho here that we're going up against. They've got the Abomasnow on the team. Some real scary competitive Pokemon. They've got the Azumarill there, Drampa. Did you see how quickly I locked in my usual 3 right there? I gave a quick scout to the the team. There is an argument to say it would have been good to bring Raichu here. Even like maybe we could get a use out of Ditto at some point, but I feel like Ditto is just a Pokemon that if you have it on your team of 6, it kind of throws the opponent off a little bit. And you never know. I might use it at some point, but for now it's kind of just for scaring purposes. Anyway, the Azumarill is the lead of our opponent in this last battle here, and we are going to go for our standard Dragon Dance strategy. And I don't know if this Azumarill is going to switch or stay in. Does end up staying in, and the huge power play rough is going to do rather a lot of damage. Remember, Gyarados' special defense is far better than its physical defense, so that was always going to do a lot of damage with the huge power on the Azumarill. And the Earthquake does a lot of damage to the Azumarill, but we are going to actually lose this matchup. I wasn't sure what this thing was going to do, if it wanted to like belly drum or what, so I just went kind of on the offensive. And it turns out that, it got the better of us. So we're going to go into Gengar. I'm thinking in my head, Gengar can probably take an Aqua Jet here and not die at the very least. And then obviously get either a Thunderbolt or a Sludge Wave off. And I actually kind of forgot that we probably should have gone for Sludge Wave here, because it's more powerful, it's stab, and it's super effective against the Fairy typing. But I think in my head I was thinking that Azumarill, I was focusing on Azumarill's Water typing, because I was obviously thinking about the Aqua Jet coming, and that just made me click Thunderbolt. Luckily for us, it still kills. But this guy might be thinking like, why doesn't this Gengar have a poison move? And honestly, that could maybe work to my advantage. It depends what comes out next. Maybe I might lull my opponent here into a false sense of security, thinking that I don't have Stab, Sludge Wave, or Sludge Bomb. But we do, of course. I just was an idiot. And this time we actually are going to click Sludge Wave here. I almost forfeit for some reason. But I think I do end up clicking Sludge Wave. You can see I'm thinking about it there. But ultimately, I just wanted to get as much damage as we could. This is a multi-scale Dragonite, so it's going to do far less than it would usually. And for some reason, I don't know why this Dragonite clicked Fire Blast, but it did, and we survive it. I'm seeing a lot of non-Mega specially based Dragonites, which is really strange. I guess this is just because the rental Dragonite that we got, and like every player gets, is specially based. But I don't think a lot of people realise that it's supposed to be a Mega one. Nonetheless though, this does actually take us out after using Fire Blast and then Ice Beam. So we're now down to just Umbreon, and this is honestly maybe poor play from me. Like maybe I should have switched earlier or been a bit less, brash. But we are going to take the extreme speed to the face here from the Dragonite. We're going to go for a Foul Play to get the kill on the Dragonite. I only have like 1 HP anyway. And that's going to mean that Umbreon is going to take on this last opponent on our enemy's team here. And the Gardevoir comes out, and I'm feeling okay about this. A Stab Fairy move is going to be scary, but I'm thinking in my head like a couple of Foul Plays, maybe a Toxic and a Moonlight. Maybe we could get something working here if Moonblast does less than half. However, when I see how much damage Moonblast does, even with all of our special investment, Careful Nature, special defensive EVs, and HP, it still does a lot. And Gardevoir is a very strong Pokemon, so I'm thinking like we're going to lose here. I'm just going to click something. So I click Moonlight, because that's what I would have done. And weirdly, I don't know why, but the Gardevoir switches up her move and goes for Vacuum Wave, maybe thinking that it could kill. I don't know exactly why it clicked it, but that gives us a hope here. It gives us a little glimmer of hope. And I'm just going to click Moonlight again, hoping that for some reason the Gardevoir is going to pick Vacuum Wave, and then I can maybe, Toxic from there or start Foul Playing or something. Gardevoir then does revert back to the Moonblast. Honestly, could have got this match over with last turn, but for some reason, switched up to the Vacuum Wave. But we're going to click the Moonlight here just in case. I don't know. Again, in case they switch to Vacuum Wave for some weird reason. I don't know why. We're just basically, it's just like a last-ditch effort just in case our opponent wants to be an idiot. But we are going to, go down swinging at the very least. I'm going to click Foul Play here just to get the damage, I think, because I'm just thinking like Moonlight is technically what helps us survive, but we're not going to win the PP battle. I think Moonblast has 15 PP, Moonlight only has like 8, so we're not going to win that matchup, that Stallfest. So I just click the Foul Play, maybe thinking that we could potentially get a critical hit or something, and we don't. But we gave a good account of ourselves here, and we nearly won this game. I think one more Foul Play would have won us the match, but unfortunately we did lose it. and the Moonblast Gardevoir proves to be too strong. And unfortunately, our last match of the episode, we do lose. So that means we are going to have to wait to get up to Great Ball rank. But there are still more battles to come, guys. Episode 2, we've made a lot of progress, and there is still more progress to be made. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Pokemon Champions.